So, to go back to this then, what you were just talking about, the globalist conspiracy, more or less. You mentioned a couple of studies earlier, something that took place in 2008, 2010, the Rockefeller Foundation. And I mean, to a lot of people that would hear this, they would say this guy is off of his rocker a little bit.
Just look it up. It's printed.
But give us a little bit more flavor to what all you're referring to. And you said you couldn't find anything right now in your research before 2008, but you're pretty sure it was probably there. If I got you.
I mean, you had things with the Rothschilds going back a couple hundred years.
Right.
You got the Bilderbergs going back a ways.
Right.
And then you have that they have these secret meetings and they control these central banks and the world banks.
So when you say secret meetings, what do you refer to exactly?
Jekyll Island and some of the stuff that they say is conspiracy, but yet we have proof of it.
Yeah.
And just this thing that you got to be in the billionaires club or some kind of sociopath. I mean, I don't think that Epstein was in the club so much as that he was a useful pervert who was able to blackmail people, high-ranking people. So, why has our government not spoken more about what was on those computers? Which people? Well, because there's a lot of high-ranking people. And Alan Dershowitz, he's been to the island, and Bill Gates has. The person who has not been to the island is Donald Trump. They got pictures of him from way back, and to his credit, he said, you know what, that Epstein character is not allowed in Mar-a-Lago. That's what happened after Donald Trump met Epstein. What happened when Bill Clinton met him? He said, you know what, get me on that Bolita Express another 17 times.
Yeah. Yeah.
They had a mural painted of him there.
Yeah. So, but as far as these reports go, could you mention the reports that because I know I did see them.
I had them with me. I was going to bring them here, but there's back in 2010, there's one by the Rockefeller Foundation and the American Enterprise Institute, and it's talking about.
Because I would have thought the American Enterprise Institute would have been a good guy.
Right, the name is, all the names are funny like that.
Yeah.
It's 1984, everything's the bizarro world, where everything's the opposite of what it really is. So yeah, it's anti-American. So I think that's some kind of, it has a whole thing where it goes into different scenarios of how to do a pandemic, and even, what the lockstep should be about how the politicians and the media should be in lockstep, reporting the same thing. Even putting out for like a 10-year period, they were planning, like in 2012 to get a run at this. It took them a little bit longer, thankfully. But then they have, what the headlines will likely read for the next 10 years after that. About, people have resistance, and then we have to have starvation, and we have to get control of the media, and we have to have chaos, and we have to incite riots. The things that we're seeing now.
Right.
So who's the conspiracy theorist here?
Right.
When the thing is already written. So that was one. Since then, American Enterprise Institute has written another. Rockefeller Institute has put out another one. We get periodic things from the CDC or bless you, or from the Johns Hopkins or Harvard, especially from their departments of public health. Will put out just absolute trash.
So going to these reports then, when you look at what the way that the president has been savagely attacked by the media and other people, this is a theorization on your part, but do you theorize perhaps because he either didn't know about it, or he knows about it and he's against it, or he's just a roadblock in their way, or is there any connection whatsoever?
I'm looking at that he is intelligent and knows what's going on, and if he had absolute power, he could do a lot more faster. Right now, I think he's looking at, let William Barr have a year till like the November election, and then I hope he just is sick of it, because I'm really, really counting on William Barr. He's my last hope on any semblance of that, that this could be done politically without the country literally going under. Right. That it's too much swamp.
Yeah.
It's really too much swamp for one person. He can't go and show off all the Republicans that are swamp monsters, because then he'd have no support.
Right.
Right. So obviously there's more Democrats that are swamp monsters than Republicans, but there's plenty of Republicans that are swamp monsters. Yeah. That just, the swamp just needs to be drained. Yeah. And the people need to do it, but the problem is most of the people in cities are actually believing the media that's in their big cities. Yeah. And that's why you see it light up where the cities are for who voted for the Democrat, and why you see where all the deaths are with COVID.
Yeah. So I'm going to tell you, for myself, I actually saw some events that the media would report something that said that's not what happened.
Right. That happens all the time.
And I became very jaded, and I've told people I am jaded to what the media says. Basically what you said, if the media is saying one message, I'm like, okay, there's a different story. And I'll tell people that's on me, whether it's right or wrong. That's the way that I approach it. But it seems like we're probably somewhat similar in that approach.
No, we're both green. We both get it.
Okay.
You're not saying open with caution, are you? You're saying just open, because this whole thing is nonsense.
My first thought was when there was people didn't know, I thought, okay, if they wanted to take 2 weeks to see or whatever, because nobody knows. I mean, there were a lot of
so a lot of people started yellow, but hopefully more people are going green.
Yeah. That's the idea. And I looked at the numbers that I could see. I don't have your expertise to interpret them. So that I had the numbers that were put out, and I said, wait a minute, this makes no sense. This is the problem. Why are we shutting down Texas for a New York problem? It makes
no sense medically or scientifically. It makes sense if the goal is to destroy the economy, the world economy. Then it makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
And think about it. Every time you go to a traffic light, if it's green, you're going to go.
Right.
Yellow, caution. If it's red, you're going to stop. But here's the difference. If you're one of these red people, when the light turns green, where are you going to go?
Well,
they should. They will, because they're rule followers. So then they'll go.
Right. But what I'll do first is I want to make sure that there's no reckless.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm annoyed when there's no traffic around and the light turned yellow and I got to slow down and stop. Whereas a red person celebrates it.
Yeah, I know. I look at, like, if you're in the middle of nowhere, middle of the night, nobody's here, and the light turns red. Why do I have to? I'll stop and move. The flashing red is great.
Just stop, look for a policeman, then go.
Yeah, except that they're in hiding someplace.
And that's only because you got white privilege. Because if you were black, you wouldn't be able to, because they'll kill you.
Yeah.